Senator Pavley.
Yes, thank you very much. Members, I'm very proud to be an author of AB 32. It was back in 2006 and actually got bipartisan votes on the assembly floor, if I remember correctly. I wanted to rise today and let you know that I do support in concept this long-term expenditure plan for cap and trade funds to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and support almost all of the measures in the trailer bill. I might have tweaked percentages back and forth. But I did want to simply raise a concern, and it is, should 25% of auction revenues be continuously appropriated and spent on the current, and I'll emphasize current, high-speed rail plans, which are slated to reduce approximately 1% of greenhouse gas emissions that we need to obtain to reach our 2020 targets. So 25% of the auction revenue to achieve a 1% reduction of GHGs. Perhaps, and this is my hope if this trailer bill passes tonight, the High-Speed Rail Authority, along with many members in this House, will be able to refocus their efforts to upgrade transit in the LA and Bay Areas. Transit projects that will get people out of their car, clean up their air, and get people to where they need to work in a quicker period of time. It could also accomplish reducing a greater amount of greenhouse gas emissions. The impacts to climate change are real. We're seeing it already here in California. Simply put, we need to maximize our expenditures of auction revenue to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, not only to protect the model legislation from possible litigation, but because we can get more bang for our buck within shorter time frames and with our targeted investments that will accelerate the reduction of greenhouse gas emissions as well as clean up our air.
Thank you, Senator Pavley. Senator deLeon, followed by Senator Morrell.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, as well as colleagues. Just a couple of points I just want to make just very quickly. I know that there have been several documents that have been submitted and delivered to several members here, specifically from Mr. Jeff Morales, the CEO of High Speed Rail, as well as the Secretary of Transportation, Brian Kelly, who used to be the policy director for the State Senate. And in those letters, there is part of the content speaks to the spirit with regards to the bookends development of high-speed rail, in contrast with laying down track in the middle of the Central Valley. And I think that there's a handful of senators here who believe that you get the most bang for the buck, and you get carbon reduction almost immediately, as opposed to drawing out into the near future, putting boots on the street with regards to real jobs much more quicker. And I think those investments, which are real and tangible, are much more prudent. There's been a handful of senators on this floor who have spoken to this issue quite clearly, not just on the floor in private meetings and meetings with Jeff Morales as well as Brian Kelly, but also within our respective caucus. I know that I'm holding a letter here from the Transportation Agency, specifically from the Secretary of Trans, that is Brian Kelly. One of my colleagues here has a letter from Jeff Morales, the CEO of the high-speed rail. And in the letter, and I won't read it verbatim, but in the letter they speak about the bookends, the Caltrans electrification, the connectivity, regional connectivity with regards to making our trains move much more efficient, reducing carbon, getting folks from one place to another place much quicker, much sooner. These are our end goals. Having the spirit of a letter is good, but I think for a handful of folks, rightfully so, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And I think what we're going to do, what we will do, in fact, is because today is Sunday, the 15th, by midnight, we have to have this done and finalized. We will have technical cleanup language that takes the spirit of these letters from both Brian Kelly as well as Jeff Morales, and we'll take that spirit, which is great, but ultimately they're words on paper, and we will codify that into our technical cleanup language, and we will move that language next week with the goal line, Pomona Valley. We will put that there, and we will move this measure next week. So I just want to lay that out there publicly and for the record, and I want to thank my colleagues for their consideration as we move towards this overall goal, but also to doing so in a manner that makes it very clear to the administration what the spirit is of this legislative body.
Thank you, Senator.